Well, how do you do, everyone? Another fun-filled day of streaming. Good news, internet should be fixed for the most part. It went down a couple times the last few days, for a couple hours, but it's been fixed now. So today, I figured I've been getting really back into Foxhole, and the war is starting to. We've gotten past the grindy bit of getting up to sledgehammer and some other things, so now things are starting to speed up a little bit. And we're just about to get into what we call the Warden Weekend. I don't know if it's kicked off already or not, so it should be lots of firefights all over the place and people screaming for their lives. But figured inside of that, I'd do kind of like a very easy to understand beginner's guide, where I'm going to go over as much as I can to help new people that plan on getting into the game. So, that being said, we're going to swap over to the scene. I'm going to start in the main menu and kind of go through some things. So, in the bottom left and right, you'll notice I have slideshows. I'll explain those a little bit later. But, short summary, that's to make sure when I get in the game. In the bottom right would be the chat window, and the bottom left would be uh, the mini-map when you're in vehicles. And this is mainly to make sure that there isn't no spying going on, because that happens on occasion. Most areas don't allow stream sniping, but I'd rather not be the cause for anything to happen. But we're gonna go in here. Usually when you hit play, you're given the option to choose Collie or Warden, Colonials or Wardens rather. Here we can see death toll is about evened up. We're 103 days into the war, meaning roughly we should be hitting winter time, give or take. Uh, I have a day and 2 hours in the war. And here's my rank. Your rank doesn't matter too much. You just get from commendations, doing shit, and then your level. I think that's for killing people. I haven't gotten a full answer, and it doesn't matter at all. You don't see it on anyone, so most people kind of forget it exists. But we're gonna hit deploy. Usually here you'd pick whether your wardens or collies. At the moment collies is full, so it would be read out and say longer queue times. I kind of want you to go wardens, but everyone I know has gone collies for the moment. So just loading into the game, it's going to take a wee bit, and then we'll be put on the home island here. So here it doesn't matter. So there's two map modes. M is normal map, and then N is secure map mode. So basically, it just gets rid of encampments, player-built structures. It's made basically for streamers. That way, we don't have to worry about showing off details. But we have the two deployment zones. There's the vehicle training area, trench training, artillery driving course. Here is kind of all of basic training, so you'll go up through here, around, come out here, and then do the logi section. But instead of doing that here on the home island, I figured we'd head on down to the actual island, or rather the actual battlefield, and see what's going on. It is a very nice game. It's usually calm. I say that, but there's some shit going on in Blemish. So here's the map at the moment. The wars can be cut down to only like the three main lanes, or I've heard of East and West, but I've never played that myself. I just know full map. So here we could see, this is the border as is in the moment. Wardens, you would spawn up here. This is their homeland, and for collies, this is our homeland. Wardens may be one of these three. I don't know. I've been meaning to try out Wardens one of these days. It looks like Drowned Vale may actually be off. It's darker than it should be. That may just be the map. But these that are flashing, this is contested areas where there's lots of fighting going on for action. These, though, you'll notice it says backline. These are your logi factory areas. So the Heartland's the Great March. Over here in Westgate, this is Kinston, I think it is, or the actual town name. Lawnstone, that's what it is. Kinstone's up here. Lawnstone, and then Idolo. These are the main ones that most of our stuff goes through. I don't think too much goes through Lockmore, because it has a, I think, refinery but not factory, or factory but not refinery. But the next area would be up here, but this is still being contested, but this would become a production area afterwards. There, and I think also here in Farinac Coast. If was it Farinac, or where was the next place? Oh, it was Concave and Skelter, and we've actually been pushed out of here. We're being slowly pushed back out of this area. But anyway, let's go to Blemish. It's the busiest place in the map usually, so it'd be a great time to show off what the fuck's going on. And also hear people scream because there's some stuff going on with stuff being stolen for technology. So we'll get in here. So there's two main things that you want to think about when going into the game. And that's if you want to be front lines or logistics. And for the most part, everyone will tell you to start with logistics, then move to frontline combat. There's a lot of people on the front line, if they're new, don't know what they're doing and just run at the enemy, and that hurts us a lot. So I'm going to do my best to explain logi first, and then I'll go over everything else. So what I'm doing right now is, to do logi, you need to get materials, but to do that, you need to go collect them. Usually what you would do is use a hammer just to collect materials, which is slow, takes a while, and you can't collect components. I'll explain what that is later. We just recently, through the technology tree, unlocked sledgehammers, which gathers materials faster, gives you a little bit more, I think, as well. Also lets us collect components, which you need to use to make tanks, artillery, certain other guns, I think, as well. I think the sniper? No. I know there's a couple guns that require it, but I grabbed that, but keeping the hammer on me just in case, and usually I would also grab a wrench. I may as well now. The wrench is used to unlock vehicles, which you'll need all the time around Blemish, because people leave their stuff locked when they're not supposed to. And then also a radio. So what the radio does, I actually shouldn't take it, because of where I am. So in secure map mode, I can't use the radio, because the radio in these vision fields, you would see your units moving around, and also blue for wardens. If you have the radio, it updates faster, giving you closer to real-time accuracy of what's going on. So this is the secure map mode, and I'll just show it off. And then this is the normal map mode, so you can see all the different triangles. These are all just vehicles around the place. But you don't get that in secure because it's secured. So I'll actually get rid of this. That way it's not taking up a wee bit of weight. And we'll make our way out. Actually, I'll explain a few other things while we're here. So, the one thing I was saying about people running into front lines and hurting each other, every time you spawn, you consume a soldier supply, also known as shirts or SS. So, if you're just dying constantly, that's hurting your team because it's meaning you can get less spawns in, and Logi has to bring more shirts more often. So that's why typically you're supposed to hold your line and let artillery or heavier machine guns kind of wear on the enemy, and you wait for a counterattack. You let them grind themselves on you first. But there are big clans that do large pushes, and they're able to do that pretty often. So right now, we're going to be making our way down. Now the one thing you always have to do in these logi towns is pay attention. So listen for vehicles that are coming, and stay off the road, because you will get run over, and it is not your fault, or it's not other people's fault when they get run over.
The way they can.
So here we have the technology tree. what you're looking
They
at
can just
here
run
is you
around.
have to
We have
choose
fucking
between
mountains to
one or
walk
the other.
around.
So we chose the
They
Spear
can
Tip
just
Escort, which
put
is a
AI there.
truck with an MG in it, and then these are what you auto tech. So we automatically get the motorcycle when we complete this tier. So I'm not gonna look too much at what we're doing. Shit's going slow, but we have sledgehammers.
Yeah, I think we'll get the field AT by tomorrow.
So these guys, they're talking about quartermaster. That's someone that handles the technology. I actually have done that before, and I would offer now, but I'm doing this instead. Basically, what you do as a quartermaster is you sit, you wait for technology materials to be brought to you, and then you deposit them into the research that the team wants. So here at the refinery, you can convert stuff into materials, and these here at the bottom are what you need for technology. Iron and aluminum converts 1 to 1 into iron alloy and aluminum alloy. Aluminum is for guns, iron is for vehicles. So now what we'll do is we'll try and get ourselves a truck, preferably a hauler. It's always busy here in Blemish. So let's see. This here's the stockpile. All these are crates of supplies. So it's not a single gun, it's a crate of 40 mags. If we look at the gun, it's a crate of 20 guns instead of just a single gun. So we got crates of vehicles that have 3 each, and we have single vehicles. So it's divided up for vehicles and then also for crates. We have 12 crates of 3 infantry flat guns each, but then we also have 17 individuals. So right now we're just waiting for this guy to move his truck out of the way. And we're going to pull out an Atlas. So an Atlas is a hauler truck. It can only carry scrap. It cannot carry the refined technology materials, and it cannot carry any goods. So the reason I'm grabbing this is because we're going out to the scrap field. It can carry more than the hauler that you just saw drive by. And we're just going to lock it for now. Usually I don't lock my Vix when I'm going scrapping, but kind of busy today. So just gotta wait for this to get fueled up, and then we'll just get out of town, and then I'll look at the map for what's available. So that's someone building a spear tip in the garage there. And there's a hauler right here. Yeah, this is what I mean. There's Vicks all over the place. So we're gonna go into the map, and we're looking for these scrap fields, or salvage fields rather. That one's full. Is that one completely full? No, it's 150. So 250 is the max for it. We got that one full, that one's basically full. That one's almost empty. So we'll head on down to this one at Pandora Compound. So it's a little bit finicky to get used to the game. As you can tell, it's top down. And you use a middle mouse button to rotate the camera. Actually not that bad. It takes a little bit to get used to, but surprisingly enough, it's not that bad. Also, you will always hit things no matter what. It just happens. So we'll make a left here. And we'll head on down. So it should be the next, not the next left, but the one after that will take us right to the Pandora field. So we're in the back lines, we don't have to worry about any wardens at the moment. Although last war, there was a couple warden tanks that managed to get themselves down here in the Heartlands, and someone just left their truck there. That's what I mean for, I like to bring a wrench. Also, I just missed my turn. Because typically those will be locked and they could have bins inside of them. So I'm not sure if anyone's at this field yet. Oh, they walled it off. That's new. Was not here yesterday. It says here is a crate that stuff can go into. We're going to check the encampment first. No extra salvage. What some people do is, while they're mining, they throw any extra salvage that they can't carry in their truck in there, or if they're specifically going after technologies, like I used to do yesterday and the day before, uh, you would go specifically, you would only want to go after technology, so you'd throw it in there. So now we're just going to salvage for a bit. It's going to go much faster with the sledgehammer. Uh, each one of these on the ground is a node, and each field spawns with 250 nodes. That's one node gone, and as the nodes disappear, this in the center will actually change its model to have less and less until it's just a single truck that's sitting there. So that's nice. I like when devs put in that type of effort. So, as I was saying, this would usually take a while with just the hammer because you're just tinking away at piles. But with the sledgehammer, we're able to just mallet our way through it. Hopefully, soon we'll get some technology. I can kind of show off what that looks like and explain that. Oh yeah, also, you spawn with a pistol, it spawns unloaded. You have 2 mags. Always make sure to load it just in case, especially if you're logi. We'll get into partisans later. Partisans are people that go behind ally lines, or enemy lines rather, and try to fuck shit up. So usually the most they're doing is interfering with logi. Sometimes they set up forward operating bases, also known as FOBs, for a larger invasion force to come through later. That happens usually a little bit later into the war is when naval invasions start kicking off more often. So inventory's full. You move slower with a filled inventory, and if I allow myself here while sprinting, see where's the line? There it is, into red, and you fall over. So that'll waste a little bit of your time. So if you're in a dangerous environment and you're over encumbered, try not to. I've had a couple times where my truck got shot just before reaching the ally fob to deposit supplies. I had to carry the crates, and being over encumbered while in the middle of a gunfight is not fun, because you just cannot move and you're just such a big target. Yes, as this sign here is saying, you will see signs all over the place in game. There are some at the town hall when I spawn, of all different groups, factions, clans to join. That being said, if you'd like to join my clan, LLC, feel free to do that. You can do !Discord to get into the Discord, and then from there you can find the link to the Foxhole Discord. But we're just gonna keep hammering away for a wee bit. We got some other people coming in. All that matters is that this gets cleared and hopefully we get some technology, but I'm not sure if we will. So they took just a normal truck, so they're probably doing logi on the side. I'm just gonna throw my extra in here and we'll get a move on with showing off what else we do. So now that our truck is full, we're gonna take it to the refinery. And I'll show what to do with that. Use the gate, please. There we go. So we're just gonna go up the other way. Now, you guys can't see it because I have it blocked, but in the bottom left while you're driving, you do have a mini-map. So that is nice. But we're gonna be going in the other entrance to Blemish now. One thing I'm gonna do first, I'm just going to check my settings quickly. Why is that on Ultra? What the fuck? Actually, custom. I'll do this the way I want to do it. Yeah, very much fine. There we go. Now it should run smoother. Just because I noticed it was stuttering a wee bit on stream. Oh, it still likes to do that. Why is that? Not sure. Oh, I think I know what it is. It's every time I rotate my camera. For some reason, the game does not like it. Nope, never mind. It's just completely random. Weird. But we'll take this up and we'll pass by another salvage field on our way in. Now everyone's gone a little bit ham with the defenses here, because it is our capital. And people just hammering away here. So we're just coming in by where we spawn. So here's the town hall. And you always want to be slow and careful around here. Mainly for people that don't know what they're doing. So we're just gonna set everything to public so anyone can use it. And then we're gonna do a fit into EMATs. You always need explosive materials. And then we'll dump the rest into BMATs. And BMATs is what you use for everything. No matter what it is, it uses BMATs. And he went in the wrong entrance. That's fine.
Why is this just raw?
So, now that I've shown what salvage looks like, we'll pop on down to a component field. I just need to check where one is. They move them around every war. So we're just gonna head over here. There is a salvage field down this way. Or component field, rather. So as I said earlier, components is what you need to make tanks, artillery, more advanced things. But I don't think you have any chance of getting iron or aluminum. That's only with salvage. So you have some people that only farm component fields so they can get tanks and they can just keep making tanks. And then you have people who will only farm salvage fields so we can get the technology that we need to well, win the game essentially. So we're going to turn here and just go straight for a wee bit, and I'm going to hope it's not fenced off, because it is. If it is, we have to go find the entrance to the place. But it should just hopefully be an empty field, kinda. So it is a network of bunkers. And here's someone working away in there. So it seems like I came out from the wrong side. This is the only thing that kind of sucks about fortifying this shit is if you don't know what side to come in at, kind of shit out of luck. Here we go. Luckily it was not too far. Oh boy, we got a lot of people. So the nodes here, the field's probably going to be empty just as I'm showing up, aren't it? Or isn't it?
This is like multiplayer whack-a-mole.
Yeah, okay, this field's pretty much empty. So as you can see, everyone really wants components. So instead of us fighting for some components there, we'll go check for somewhere else. Let's see, what about this one? Empty. Right now the mining is intense. Seems like most fields are gonna be empty. So we'll pop on down to the salvage field just down the road then, and mine some more salvage. hopefully get some technology. So this is, I'd say there's about 3, maybe 4 branches of logi work there is. Very generally, logi is you go get scrap, refine it, take those materials and convert it into things different places need, and then deliver it. But there's also very specific inside of that. So what I'm doing is the scrapper, salvager, miner. There's a few different ways to call it, and then inside of that is also subcategories. So you have the tech miner, who's only mining for technology, and then you have the just the scrap miners. You'll see a couple clans that they ignore technology and will usually put it in an encampment for someone else to grab, because they're only after the scrap so they can build stuff for their clan. Usually weapons, shirts, garrison supplies, ammo, whatever else they need. But typically I salvage because delivering things to the front is annoying, more or less. Oh, here we go. So this here is iron. Thank you, game, for having a full inventory. Iron and aluminum look completely different, so you'll know whether or not it's one or the other, and it has a slightly different sound when it drops. So how it works is a field can only have one or the other per respawn. So once it gets emptied of nodes, which I think this should be, yeah, 214, so it still has a lot. So all of these from now on, now that we know it's iron, have a chance to drop iron, which we can use to get technology. But how it works is every time the field respawns, it can also flip over to aluminum or have iron again. That's why you'll hear some people or see some people mark on map whether or not a field is aluminum or iron. Because early game, we were really hurting for aluminum. So luckily most of the fields here around Blemish were aluminum, so we didn't have to mark on map. But if we were getting mostly iron drops, other fields would be marked aluminum or not. Also, you get more technology materials with the sledgehammer, I find, over the hammer. So the game kind of snowballs in a way. So you start with a hammer, the slow game for materials. As soon as you get the sledge, though, you just start hammering out technology. But to compensate, the technology gets more and more expensive. Gun technology starts at 200, I think, and it works its way up to 600 or 800. Can't remember what the max is for it. Vehicles, I think, start at 400 and work their way up by 200 every third tier. It gets a price increase or something. I can't remember. I haven't looked too much into it because, well, we haven't tiered up that much, so I haven't been able to compare prices. Yeah, we'll keep going until we have this full. So the one thing that you would do, have it blocked because I'm streaming, so I can't show too well, but there's multiple different chats. You know, you got world chat, you have logi chat, you have intelligence, you have whispering, you have regiment chat, and you have squad chat. I think there's one more chat that I'm forgetting. Region chat as well. And basically, you'll mostly see requests for items either marked on map or through logi chat. So if it's marked on map, then you would click on it and you can leave a comment on the post saying like, oh, you know, I'll be there in a couple minutes with it. And then you go, you make it, and you head out. So again, back to where I was saying earlier, the different roles inside. The salvager main job is to just strip these scrap fields as fast and often as they can so they can hurry up and get respawned. So one, there's more technology coming through, but also so there's just constantly things in the refinery. So typically, It depends if they're in a faction or a clan or not. A clan, typically then they'll reserve it. Otherwise, if they're freelance or they're just doing it alone like I do when my boys aren't on, I just set everything to public so anyone can take it. So what that does is it keeps a reserve of materials that people can just instantly pull from the refinery, so they don't have to go get themselves. Do I have everything? Yeah. So and that makes it easier for them, so they can just, if someplace needs shirts urgently, they go, they get the materials, easy peasy, and then they run to a factory and they produce it, and then they're out the door within 5-10 minutes, depending how long it takes and if they have anything else queued up, and then they just gotta go deliver it. So then they don't have to worry about going to a field, salvaging the material themselves, going back, putting it in the refinery, making sure it's set to private so they can get it, pulling those materials, then going to the factory, then queuing it up, and then making it. So you cut a huge chunk of time out for the delivery boys and the runners, and they're able to just get the stuff out as soon as possible and help the front lines even better, even faster. So that's kind of the basis, the bottom of the pyramid for logi, because everything else builds on top of it. On top of that, there'd be, I guess, the people who mainly stay inside of town. So there's a small sub-faction of logi work where they produce the goods, but they don't actually take it anywhere. They put it in the stockpile to build up a reserve of items, so then other people take it and deliver it when it's needed. Not too many people do this. Usually it's like whatever extra they had, they throw it in the stockpile, so there isn't like a huge reserve, but it's there in case it's needed. That's why earlier when I was at the stockpile pulling the vehicle, you saw so many other things there, when theoretically all of it would be taken to the front and used. That's just because we built a bit of a stockpile. Always just gotta be careful. I'm careful of people just on foot, but other people will not care. You will get run over all the time. So here, we'll throw the iron in, that converts to the iron alloys. I can't take it in my truck, but someone else will hopefully take it over to the engineering bay that we saw earlier. So here you can see a timer. Private also has the timer, and it'll stay private for half an hour or so, I can't remember. Let's just quickly get out of town for a second. So they're producing guns, that's probably what they were using components for, or rather field guns, so that's like heavy MG. Let's pull over here for a moment. Yeah, so those are the different things. That's producing BMATs and EMATs, which you need to make things at a factory. Which I may as well show how to make that stuff. Where's the front line? Front line is somewhere up there, it seems, not sure. But I can just produce it and throw it in the stockpile. Let's see, what do we kind of need a reserve of? Masks. Shirts. Shirts are always in demand. So we'll just, I'll pop on back, and we'll grab a truck, a normal truck, a hauler, not the Atlas. I always hate that little patonka-donk. This is public parking. Most towns have a public parking area, so you don't have to go out of the stockpile. You always have to make sure to unlock your truck, or otherwise, bad things happen. This is unlocked. It is empty of things. So we'll grab some materials and we'll go over to a factory, and I'll show how you do that, which is another important part of logi. Obviously, you need to know how to make the things. So here we got our B mats cooking up. We still have 3 minutes worth. We're gonna pull out a bit, not too much. So shift clicking is gonna pull out more. Just a normal click will pull out less. The shift clicking, I think that's 60 at a time. So we'll pull out around 400, I think, and that should be enough. Maybe even 300 is enough. We'll do 400 to be on the safe side. But yeah, if you were planning on doing stuff yourself, I'd say set it to private. That way no one else yoinks the materials out from under you. At the same time, though, if you don't plan on delivering to the front, just set it on public. So here, this factory is pretty busy. I don't know if there'll be enough room in the queues. Well, that guy's in the factory at the moment. So we're just gonna pull up here and go in. So there's a bunch of shit here. Shirts are all queued up. You can only have 4 max queued at a time. So we're gonna actually look, because there are 2 normal factories and 1 mass production factory here in Blemish. This factory has almost nothing being done at it. Then we have the mass production facility, which basically what that does is it makes it so you produce, I think it is more, it takes longer though, but it's cheaper. You get a price reduction. So we're gonna head over here to the other factory. Always check to see how many factories your town has. Blemish used to have 3 normal factories and 1 mass production, but they got rid of the other one for some reason. So here, the queue is 3, so we're able to make the shirts we want. So each one is 80. You can see here the total amount comes out to 320, and then we have the option to set to personal to your squad. So if you're running with a squad of people like I am on the right, which poker isn't online at the moment, you can make it so anyone in your squad can go and pull things out of the factory and take it. And then of course you have public, which boots it out over here to the right, I believe. So you have your queue, your squad's queue, and then everyone's queue, I believe this is. I can't quite remember what those are. But then you have your medical, each one has its own thing, they each work off their own. So we'll make some shirts, we'll set that to squad just in case. So it's going to take 17 minutes for mine to be finished. So it takes, I'm not sure, a minute or 2 for each one, but we have to wait for the 3 queued before mine to finish before mine get done. And also we have weapons, we have 80 B mats, so let's see what we can make. We can make some 7.62 ammo. We can also make some 9mm or some buckshot, but I don't think we have the shotgun. So you can make all ammo out of the gate, no matter what. Damn it, missing 20 for that. The only thing is if you don't have the weapon unlocked, then it's just ammo sitting there, being useless. Let's see. 65 sludges, Hydra's Whisper. Yeah, and we'll just go with 7. So now the one thing you don't want to do is sit here. If I sit here and wait for 15 minutes, I'm a complete jackass. So what that does is it blocks off other people getting to the factory. So what's highly suggested is while that happens, I almost wedged myself, but I turned the wrong way. To go turn the other way, but I got mixed up. It happens. But anywho, what's suggested is typically going and getting more salvage, getting things set up and ready to do more loads after. So here's the mass production facility. Okay, so you can have up to, I guess 20 Q is the max. As you can see, there's 12 hours worth of things being done. Typically, only large clans do this. Cool, alright, the regen is about to reset in 60 seconds. But anyway, you have different things going on here. Crates. So these are for different special things. So you got shipping containers, resource containers, the infantry flak guns, you got the thunderbolt cannon, which is always fun, and you got the anti-tank cannons and cement mixers, which you need to make concrete bunkers, which I think is the 3rd tier of bunkers or 4th tier. And then you make crates of vehicles, which the different field guns, anti-tank and anti-infantry, count as vehicles, because why not? You make crates of them. So most of them are typically 3, I believe, for all vehicles. Alright, it's reset in 5 seconds. We'll just step out of the vehicle here to make it a little bit easier. And then we'll just quickly redeploy. There we go. I was gonna say it tells us to rejoin immediately, but then it doesn't work. Hooray! Yeah, so as this loads in, we're now here. Check our inventory, we still have everything. So, as I was saying with everything, yes, as I was saying with everything, mass production, it cuts it down. So every crate you produce, so I guess here you can queue up to 5 at a time, it cuts 10% off each time. So you can't make shirts at a mass production facility, at least it doesn't look like it. I've never used one myself. But if you were to make weapons, the best place to do it would be through mass production, because I think it also makes more weapons. But anyway, you can get a nice chunk off of it. So if you were to produce 5 crates of rifles, that would be 500 BMATs, but then you cut that in half, so it'd only be 250, if that's how it works. I'm not exactly sure how it works completely. But again, as you can see, the queues are long. So typically those aren't things that are going to be used immediately. They're going to be things that are going to be used later. Not to sleeping man. So we're probably going to find lots of sleeping people as they relog back into the game. But while we wait for our stuff to get finished, we may as well hammer out, and it actually looks like this field may be empty. Yeah, for the most part it is. Double check. Yep. They completely finished scrapping this field, and we'll just check the boxes. Alright, they seem to be empty. These guys have the salvage all under control. So we'll pop on out of here. And we'll head on down to the other salvage field we were at earlier. So aside from components and salvage, there is also sulfur, which also requires a hammer to, or a sledgehammer to mine. That's used for heavy explosives, which I think the only things that require that is the large artillery shells and the, well, lots of component people, lots of, or the high explosive tank rounds that the anti-tank tanks use. I'm not exactly sure. I never messed around with them much. I never supplied them very much. Alright, we're just going to pull off to the side here and check. I want to see if this is full. A decent amount. We'll head down there. So what that is, it's a salvage mine. pretty self-explanatory, but you fuel it and it will just, over time, gather salvage until it runs out of fuel. Uh, Early game, that's the only way you get components and sulfur is through the component and sulfur mine until you've unlocked sledgehammers. So that's why you'll see people fighting over components and the rare materials that they make early on. So we're going to hit the refuel button. So I don't know how it is over on Wardens, because obviously I haven't played Wardens, but every mine will typically have a diesel truck next to it. And if there's not, something has happened. Either someone's refueling it, which they should if it's empty, or it got stolen by possibly partisans, or just someone fucking around. So the one thing we're going to check is actually how much fuel the tanker has left, just to be on the safe side. So she's still got quite a bit of fuel left. And I'm also going to just do a quick look around. I always like to look around in case there's anything else laying around. But we'll just grab the little bit extra that popped out. And we'll leave it for someone else to get the rest later. Now, what about the component field? How's that doing? Still at 0. Yeah. So by the time we'll actually let us run down to that salvage field. We'll mine a little bit, fill up the truck, bring that to the refinery. That should have killed enough time for the shirts to hopefully be done, because that timer was 15 minutes. Yeah, hopefully that kills enough time. And then we'll just throw it in the storage depot, because I can't figure out where needs them at the moment, because keeping everything on the down low in case there's warden spies. That's actually a big concern of the game, is alt accounts spying, so on and so forth. Just because either side will do whatever it takes to win, and there's people like that. I don't really understand. At the same time, I can't get too mad at them because it's part of the game is espionage and such. So I can see why they do it. I would not buy the game more than once just to have 2 accounts just so I can spy on the other team. It seems a little bit silly. Alright, I don't think I showed off resource containers yet. So, we'll take a look. So these are resource containers. They hold 5,000 resources. But to bring them back and forth, you need a flatbed and a crane. So you need to package them, which I'll show what that looks like. And then you need the crane to lift them and put them on a flatbed, and then to unload them. So then the crane grabs that and puts on the flatbed. That's what you need to do that properly. Typically, if you're doing a lot of salvage and you're mainly a salvager, it's recommended that you just get yourself a flatbed. Go hoard components for a bit to get a flatbed, get a cargo container and bring that to salvage fields, because it's just way more efficient than going back and forth in an Atlas. The Atlas, I think, can only hold up to 1,000 and some on, around there. Maybe not even 1,000, I can't remember. But that can do 5,000 each trip. So most of the times you'll see at least 2 or 3 at the field. You fill them up, someone comes, picks up the filled one. By the time he drops it off, gets back, you filled another, he drops that off. Repeat, back and forth. That's usually what happens there. We're just going to fill up our inventory, there we go. This is typically the backline logi life. It's nice, it's quiet. I usually put on jazz music or podcasts or whatever I want to listen to at the same time. It's just nice to relax. What's not so relaxing though is chat, because you will see everyone lose their shit constantly, especially new players that don't understand you won't just win. So, surprisingly, in a player led war where it's only players fighting each other, surprisingly enough, there's a lot of back and forth over territories, and your team may be pushed back for a while. A lot of people will immediately say, the war is lost, we may as well give up. But everyone knows you never give up, you never surrender. And you yo-jo that shit. And then you have the people that, whether it be a clan or only randoms on the front line, they do pushes, charges, HE, rushes, which basically they spawn, take a grenade, run up the enemy, throw it, hope it destroys something, and then die, and repeatedly do that. And then they scream for soldier supplies or more grenades, and if they don't get within the 5 seconds they request it, they yell at logi and call them trash and shit, because, I don't know, they think we're supposed to magically poop this stuff out. That will happen. You may get heated. It's best to just ignore it. And if you want them to shut up or be quiet, the best thing to do is just try and fulfill their order as fast as possible. If you try and tell them, don't do that, typically people on the front line don't listen too well. There's a reason they're on the front line and not logi. Which I would like to go show logi. I'll have to do that not logi, frontline combat. I'll have to do that with friends, because if I go up there by myself, that's just a risk for spies and shit watching and getting the layout of what everything looks like up there. So we're going to be careful coming in. So it's not as busy, but people do leave their shit parked like that, which is kind of annoying. And yeah, Blemish is just kind of a hellhole. As you can see, everyone is trying to get into the refiner at once, whether they're pulling stuff out or putting stuff in, or just sitting here waiting for stuff to refine. There is one rule, one constant of logic. If you are waiting, do not hog. And also be patient. Everyone's trying to do what they can.
If you don't get me out here, I don't know how I'm gonna feed my children.
Pull out the iron. Odessa, hello, how are you? And we'll throw this in the engineering bay. So the quartermaster, which is currently, JD Mario, will take that and put in that truck and keep it as the quartermaster's truck. All technology gets stored in there. But we'll come back here to the factory. We'll take a look, and our ammo's done, but we still have another minute 20 on the shirts. That is not that long. So what we're going to do is we're going to go park just down the road. Oh, someone else is parked here as well. So we're just going to park here. Actually, I'm going to take a little peek-see, because I'm that kind of person. Gonna wrench it open. You have to be crouched with a wrench to unlock something. Now you can unlock it, but if it's squad locked, you cannot access the contents inside of the truck, but you can see them. Always pay attention to see whether or not this is squad locked. And it's someone that was hoarding some R mats. Of course. Well, I was just curious of what's in there. So now we're just gonna wait for roughly a minute 20. Thank you, Streamlabs. I'm pretty sure everyone has already followed if they wanted to. So we'll wait for the shirts to be done, and then we'll go and we'll throw those in the storage depot. But this is pretty much a logi life in the back areas, is, waiting for factories, working around people. Two very big things to note. One, figure out how the town flows. Every single town has a way traffic flows and how it works. So Blemish, this area, you will only ever see people come through and out this way. You will not see people come in this way typically. Just because that's the way it flows. It flows out that way, or they pull in and do a UE and come out that way. No one will come through this way, typically. They come down from the refinery. And also they like to take the other road by accident. Sometimes it happens. Of course, you have people all over the world, so to them, driving on the left side is the normal, driving on the right side is the normal. You just gotta be careful. Also, kind of know time zones of when people change, but usually, oh hey, that finger broken. I know that guy from the other day. He was salvaging with me. But, typically you'll see signs everywhere that say drive clockwise or drive on the right side of the road. Even then, you will always smash into people. I drive half on the road, half off the road, and even then people will swerve to hit me. So it happens. You just back up if you want, give a little honk, and then just on with your day. Usually at most it takes 5 seconds. But inside town, watch where you're driving. Watch out for pedestrians. Try not to hit them because that will go in the chat as you team killing, and too many of those you will get booted / reported. And I think only, not sure exactly how it works. I almost got banned from hitting too many people here in Blemish because last war it was a shit ton of new people and it was very busy, and they just run out from alleyways into the middle of the street. I wouldn't have time to stop. I just plow through them. Don't do that, by the way. If you need to get across the street, do like in real life. Walk up to the edge of the street, look both ways, and listen. Also, look, there's a guy coming in that way that I said most people don't come in that way. I figured that would happen. But look both ways and listen. You will always hear an engine before you see it because of how the game is and its render distance. You'll hear it before you see it. So kind of try and pick out what side it's coming from. And another person coming in that way. Wow, making me a fucking liar, huh? But yeah, so shirts should be done. I just think, yeah, the factory's full. I could tell by how many engines I heard and how there were still people smashing into it. We're just gonna wait for them to empty out, and then we'll go grab our shirts and put them in the stockpile. But let's see, so other than that, of course also you have delivering stuff to the front. So, the main thing you want to do is plan ahead. So look at roads. For example, let me think last war. This area here. So last war, I was stationed in Longstone with my clan, faction, company, whatever the fuck you want to classify it as, and the front was here at Sanctuary, renamed Stalingrad because it fucking was, and the gallows here. The Wardens were pushing in from up here, and we had built a giant bunker wall across here, and from Sanctuary, they pushed us back slowly, and we were holding the town hall. Eventually it fell though, so we had to push back to the bridge, so we had artillery crews up here. Not sure how they got the artillery up here because it's cliff faces here, but they got them up here and we were just shelling the Wardens. So what would occasionally happen is, going on this road here to get supplies here and here, the Wardens were taking boats and landing here or here, typically. There's a few kinda in here, but not too often. But mainly here. So you'd have to pay attention that, oh, someone's calling out that there's partisans in that area. Now, you can assume, because there's soldiers close by, it would probably be dealt with fast, but always be safe and always know a different route. So if they're here, plan to go up and down, or just up and down, whichever you think is safer or more convenient. Or if they're in this region, cut the back road and go up and around. You always need to think fast, especially in logi, because partisans will just jump out of the fucking bushes. Uh, Especially if you're close to an active front, because they do not want supplies going to that front, no matter what. As for an example of how demand in logi is, I delivered about 130 shells to the 2 or 3 artillery pieces that were firing, and within 5 minutes they had used all that up. It took about 20 minutes, half an hour. Revan, hello. It took 20 minutes, half an hour to make all of that. Hello there. And they used it within 5 minutes. So with logi, always have things producing in the background. Even when you're about to go deliver some, queue up more. Just always have a stockpile. And the factory's clear now, so we'll back out and grab the shirts. So I think it is after half an hour or an hour, whatever the timer is, this would be deposited into public. But we just hit the check mark and it all goes in. So now that we have the supplies, what we'll do is, holy shit, that's a lot of EMATs and BMATs. Someone just, not so much BMATs, but a lot of EMATs. Someone submitted in the town hall. But we'll make our way down here and we'll cut across here. It's kind of quiet at the moment. I think most people are, okay, well everyone's pulling shit from the, oh, never mind, it was my desync. Alright, so here we have all the different crates of things. This is the same you do to submit to bases as well. So right click and submit all to stockpile. So what that does is they're now in there. There are now crates in the stockpile. So we're gonna wait for this guy to go by, and then we're just gonna back up. And here, Gavin has a question. Gavin, do we know what's in the box? That's a Vic. So what we'll do is we'll just resubmit it.
It's a vehicle crate.
Yeah, I'm just gonna resubmit it. I don't know who pulled it.
Oh fuck, I'm assembling. I'm assembling. Oh no.
Alright, you guys are clear to pull stuff now.
Perfect. Thank you, bro.
Yeah, no problem. Okay, as you can see, someone's been pulling out stuff and just leaving it here. And a person pulled out a atlas. So we'll go for a little walk and kind of check around and talk at the same time. That's one thing you always want to do in this game, is just help as much as you can the people. It's just any little bit of help in the team is good help. Whether it be at a salvage site and helping fill up people's trucks so they can get back to the refinery faster. Just the small things that make everything go smoother. So what I'm doing right now is just kind of slightly paranoid. I'm going to tell a story now. Last war, because it was a sale and everything, there were a bunch of alt accounts. So we were trying to farm technology so we could get our stuff faster, because Warrens were ahead of us. They had fully enclosed scout tanks, and all we had were light tankettes, which are just tanks with MGs on the front, open top. You just throw a single grenade, it kills the crew. But anyway, I had gone for a walk around town just to check it out, and I found a tankette, which were hard to come by because we were running low on components, wedged back here, locked up, with 100 iron and 100 aluminum in it. That is a lot, considering what we had at the time. So found that, gave the supply or the materials to the quartermaster, and then took the tankette up to the front lines to be used. So this time it's less resource stealing that we're seeing from alt accounts. It's what the new trend is. You become an alt account, you go up to bunker bases and such, and you just build additions to it where it uses so many supplies that it's untenable to keep it going. So it uses, I'm not sure the entire ratio of everything, but for a bunker to have AI, which the game does have AI, defenders only though. So like a rifle garrison in a trench line, it requires garrison supplies. I don't know what the hourly rate for just a single trench line is. But basically what they do is they go and just keep adding more rifle garrisons to the point where the consumption of garrison supplies would be thousands per hour, and it would just tank the economy, shut down the defenders because they can't, or the AI will no longer defend, meaning if there's no players there, the wardens can just walk in. Wardens are collie, interchangeable. It probably happens on both sides. I just know more about collies. Nice armats in there. Because obviously I play as collie, so I hear about wardens supposedly doing it to us more than we do it to them, blah 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 blah. That's the new thing this war. Last war it was leaving iron and aluminum in trucks for the other side to steal. Oh, look at that. And this will also happen a lot. You'll find stowed vehicles that are usually belonging to a clan or faction. Back here over where the overturned trolley is, I actually found like 2 artillery pieces, some vehicles, some flatbeds, and a sign that said, please don't take, belongs to so-and-so faction, we're going to use this tomorrow. So you'll find that a lot. Alright, don't got nothing in it, so we'll just leave it. Whoever's that is, they'll come back and claim it. But yeah. So typically you'll find things hidden around on occasion. It happens. Could put the armats in there for now, but I'll go throw them in the refinery, methinks. Oh yeah, terminology for, oh hello, little hen crate, for logi. RMATs just stands for refined materials. So you need 20 components to make one refined material. Expensive. Let's see what we got in this crate. Nothing. I was hoping for some good loot. BMAT stands for basic materials. And then we have EMATs, which is explosive materials. And then you have heavy. I'm not sure what. I just hear everyone just call it heavy EMATs, which is heavy explosives, which you need sulfur to make. Other than that, there's diesel and petrol. Yeah. I'll throw this in here. Which diesel is the most common because you just make out scrap, and then petrol you need oil, which you can only get from mines to make. And what it does is it makes trucks go faster and mines work better. I can't remember exactly what it does for mines, rather. Yeah, that's how that goes. So I'll just take these armats, and as you can see, someone's coming in with the salvage. So I can throw that in there, and then we'll get kind of a look-see at what happens here.
The crane, please. Thank you.
So basically what happens is they put on the loading zone, and menu popped up, kind of like the one you saw when I was taking or putting the thing back in, and they can select where it goes, just the same as usual. So that's nice, easy, quick. It's 5,000 salvage in and out. Now let's see, is there anything else logi I'm forgetting? We got the mine and the salvaging. Mining as in mines, rather. I guess the best would be hover over stuff and get used to looking around. So, if someone's saying a certain bunker needs X supplies, hover over and see, what else they need. Obviously, the town hall here, you can see we have a shit ton of plasma, gas masks, and bandages that we really don't need. So, someone that's so inclined could take that out, which would be such a pain in the ass because it's not in crates, and then ship that to other areas. Thank you for the hydrate, Odessa. You keep me alive. Hmm. Good drink. Yeah, so we have the town hall. This is where you spawn. This is what you need to capture a town. And then you have safe houses, which you can also spawn on, uh, I think. Or you have to set your spawn there to spawn there. I can't remember. But they function like townhouses, except they're just smaller safe houses, and a town can have multiple of them inside of it. So as you can see here, Blemish has two. So one down here that we saw next to the factory, or rather has three. I never noticed that one was there. Four, rather. Jesus Christ. Yeah, it's got four safe houses. Each one has their own stuff. Supplies here and there scattered around. There's the hospital. Oh, I better show off what the hospital does. So I've never used it myself because I'm not on the front lines and I'm not a medic. But what happens is when someone goes down slash dies, you take them to a hospital and it gives you a refund on soldier supplies, shirts. So, uh, it's basically, you put the bodies in here or whatever, and then after so long or something, I'm not exactly sure how it works, you'll get some soldier supplies back. I think it's per patient you get 6 soldier supplies back, which if you think one person gets you 6 supplies, that's insane, but you have to get them back to the hospital. So typically you're only getting like 1 in 6 or 1 in 8 people back anyway, so you're not getting a huge kickback. So typically if people need soldier supplies at front lines, they'll be told by logi to build a field hospital until they're able to come in and actually drop off supplies. And then of course you have the storage depot, which you can see everything. As you can see there at the top left, the shirts I submitted earlier are gone. So someone took them and hopefully brought them to the front line or took them somewhere else. Who knows? We have the factory, construction yard. So if you look at the refinery, you'll be able to see everything in every refinery. This is very important for technology because here we have the engineering center where you make the technology. You cannot see what's inside of it. So if we go to Fisherman's Wharf or Row, Edelo here has an engineering center. You cannot see inside of it, but you can see inside the refinery, which as you can see, the thin below the powder in the bottom left is aluminum. What we tell people is don't put the technology into the engineering center, leave it in the refinery, so then people that are known as tech runners, which I guess would fall under logistics, can run over and go pick it up and bring it back to Blemish. That's how the collies handle our technology. not sure how wardens handle theirs. I'm guessing it's pretty much the same. Um, but sorry, I was just reading chat. Some shit's going down. Someone tried to wrench open the quartermaster's truck. But yeah, so then they bring the technology back down to Blemish. All technology for the collies. So across our entire border. Holy shit, they pushed us back. We used to own all of this the other day. Yikes. But we gather everything across the map in the Heartlands. I'm gonna guess the wardens are pretty much the same there. And then we have it go through one technology center, because I'm not exactly sure how the engineering centers work, but you cannot see the progress made from other engineering centers. So if I went to the one here in Blemish, I'd see that whatever we're currently at is, let's say, 50% done. If I then went to the one in Fisherman's Row, it would look at 0% because it tracks it per engineering center for some reason. So, weird. But that's how the game works. I'm hoping that gets a bit of a rework. It's a little bit silly like that. But yeah, so we bring everything down here. That's what you'll see partisans, hopefully. They try to target that the most, so then they can steal the materials. That way, they get a boost. Other than that, you have the observation towers, you build them, you fix them up, gives a wider boost. Let's see. What is there to talk about? What else logi that am I missing? Oh, boats. So seaports is a way to get things to the front if land routes are cut off. Never done it myself. As far as I know, people only use it if logi is cut off. They don't really use it too often. And I don't know exactly how it works because I haven't done it. I just know you put stuff in a boat and you send it upriver. But you'd bring it from one seaport to the other and then submit it just like I did with the normal storage depot. And because of how the map is laid out, there's a shit ton of water all over the place for some reason. You know, shit tons of rivers and marshes all over this place on this weird archipelago that we live on. So you think boats would be more common, but aside from the specific clans and factions that focus on naval, you won't see too much of it, unless they're trying to uh, invade. A good example was last war, my first stream as well. Here at Fimor, I'm not sure exactly how you pronounce it. We were pushed back to here. So the wardens were on this side of the river, and we were on this side holding the bridges. Well, they were building boats here and landing them here to get across the river and then try and push up to secure the rivers. So that's sometimes you'll see boats being used. Those were just little shitty rowboats and motorboats, though, so not actual battleships, which I haven't actually seen myself yet, probably because I don't stay near the shore too often. Also, last war, when we were down here at Lawnstone, there was a bunch of naval invasions down here by Wywick that the Wardens did. They built a base here or something, I can't remember. But we had to send half of our logi force down, in tanks and shit to go push them out and clear them out. But yeah. So main things to go over is, always check your route. Decide what you're doing as a logi. As well, you can just flip between things back and forth. You don't have to be rigid to one thing. If you just want to go salvage for like 20-30 minutes, just go salvage for 20-30 minutes. If you want to go straight to delivering, then see if the refinery has everything or has anything. If it doesn't, then you're going to have to go pick up some salvage. Otherwise, go make the stuff, figure out what needs to be brought where by when, and go do it. In the end, it's all about just having fun. You know, if you find yourself getting heated or people are getting angry at you, uh, or being not good logi, not being fast enough, so on and so forth, um, at the end of the day, you can just ignore it because it does not matter. But it does matter, but what I mean is you should be having fun. Don't worry about what some random guy calls you. Because the biggest thing logi players will always say to people that bitch about logi: if you want better logi, go do it yourself. I have seen logi go on strike for certain regions, and that was always funny as shit. Because those people that call logi selfish or stupid or incompetent really backpedal within seconds. Oh, Scott factory and mass production. A little bit empty though. A lot of diesel though, and EMATs. But yeah, so that's basically logi covered in a nutshell. Uh, the three things that you always want to do when you first spawn in is, well, first of all, pick which front you kind of want to support, and then pick the appropriate backline area. So if you want to support up here by ore breakers, at the current moment you go Fisherman Row, Barren Coast. Is this place possible? So Jade Cove is kind of a production facility area, but the refinery, I don't think it has a refinery. So the only issue is it has two factories, but you can't get any BMATs. So they'd have to be brought up from out of region. And that's kind of annoying. Huh.
Hello there.
Yeah, so it does a hello there. Conclave, though, it has factories and then a refinery just across the river. So that can be another production center. But yeah, so if you want to support Fahrenheit Coast, you go down here to Lawnstone or Edaloo, but that's a little bit longer of a drive compared to Lawnstone, where it's just straight shot. Blemish basically can go out anywhere because Blemish has the three factories that we can use, and it's kind of centralized. You'll see stuff shipped out anywhere, especially because we have all the salvage fields. Great Marsh is, because of all the component fields it has and all the component mines, because it has multiple, you'll see a lot of like tanks and shit going on here. And also it has a rocket launch site, which we build the nukes at, which we get way later in the game. Silk Farms would support this front. Mercy's Whale, which is here, can support itself, but we lost it sadly. So that kind of sucks. And we're just slowly being pushed back further and further. Ground Vale. It has a refinery, but no factories. So you can make BMATs and deliver BMATs to the front so they can build bases. Other than that, though, you're not doing too much else in the baths. Yeah. So all this applies for the wardens as well, which is obviously the inverse. Just kind of figure out where you're going. I did do the, oh right, yeah, hold on. Hello there, General Kenobi. I lost it. I'm not in the right mind. I'm also getting tired. Yeah, and then also remember your kit. So at the start of the war, you won't have sledgehammers, and I don't think radios. I can't remember if you start with the radios unlocked or not. But if you do, grab a radio if you plan on going out. If you plan on just salvaging in your region and it's a safe region, you don't have to have a radio. You can if you want to, but if there's not that many, it's probably better not to have one. Go out, hammer for a couple days, because it takes days to research things. People may not realize that. And then later when you get sledgehammers, make sure to grab a sledgehammer. And then just do your part. Every little bit helps the war effort. You know, just bringing salvage to the refinery and throwing it in there to convert into BMATs helps. Even people who just sit in the garage and just build vehicles all day. I didn't really show that. We'll pop on down to the garage. I think it's being constantly used anyway. But basically, there are some people I know, especially when tanks finally get unlocked. There are people that just sit there and build tanks all day. It's actually fun. I did it with a friend once. It's relaxing to sit there and build tanks and then see people go use them and hear people talk about how much they're kicking ass. You know, just pick whatever you want to build and then build it. So we had to research the Atlas, and the first time we got Atlas, I was over at when we unlocked it rather, I was over at Fisherman's. And I tell you what, I sat there and built like 6 Atlases and put them in the public parking, and they were gone within seconds of being put out there, each one. And then it was so satisfying to, after that, see them come back with their beds full of scrap and just knowing that, you know, I helped do that. So it's just the small things. Someone's left that locked and just kind of in the way. But yeah, so that's basically a short, semi encompassing logi tutorial, guide, tips, whatever the fuck you want to classify it as. Throw my stuff in there. You know, if you want to be logi, the biggest faction I know of is E3C, which they probably have a sign somewhere with their Discord on it that you can go find. Otherwise, there are clans, factions, groups for literally everything. Seriously, everything. Like, there's the naval groups that I know about. There's the pure salvagers, there's the pure techers. There's a niche for everything in this game. So you'll find a group of people. Just look for them, or go solo, make your own group eventually. It's whatever you want to do. Why is that just here? And empty. Weird. Oh, hey, a flatbed with a mortar? Or is that an AT gun? Interesting that that's left out here. Yeah, otherwise, if you want to play Foxhole, and you want a group of people that kind of do everything, there's LLC, which is my group. We have a bit of everything, so we just do whatever we want. We're not necessarily tied down, though we mainly do logistics. If we have everyone on, typically we have a group of people doing logistics, which is led by me typically, and then a group doing frontline combat, whether that be on the front lines in the trenches or on artillery pieces, blowing people up. I will never forget when Odin accidentally zeroed in the wrong direction and killed about 6 friendlies in one shot. It was the most kills with a shot on that day. They were all friendlies though, but I mean, he broke a record, so bright side of life. Yeah. So if that interests you, you know, feel free to join the Discord. Otherwise, I think that's gonna be it for tonight. I know it wasn't much of an actual stream. I'll probably stream it later, tomorrow or another day when I can get friends on to, oh, there's a storage box in here. I figure I'd find one in a bush eventually. Or wait, what is the storage? Yeah, if that interests you, join. Otherwise, that's gonna be it for me tonight, everyone. I hope you enjoyed this. Just kind of understanding the game more uh, as I went over things. Hopefully, everyone learned a little bit, and hopefully, when you join the game, you feel more comfortable. You don't feel as scared. And remember, if you have any questions, just ask in region chat or world chat. Everyone is really nice, especially with beginners. Typically in the home area, I don't know how often it happens these days, but I know typically there are people there that will run you through the basic training, obstacle course, and logistics training, uh, just so you understand everything that's going on. And then after that, they'll either offer to invite you into their regiment or their squad, or they'll give you tips on where to go, whether on the front line, the back line, and what region would probably need help the most. But yeah, at the end of the day, if you don't know and you're worried about fucking it up, ask. It never hurts to ask. Especially because you will never be as annoying as those people that every 5 minutes they ask if we've unlocked sledgehammers. And every 5 minutes I have to repeat myself that no, we're still days away. I know because I've been quartermaster for 6 fucking hours and I'm getting asked every 5 minutes about sledgehammers. They don't magically grow. As long as you're not one of those people, you're perfectly fine asking your question. Or you could simply check the tech center yourself and not ask the quartermaster every 5 goddamn seconds. Anyway, with that being said, that's gonna wrap it up tonight. I'm gonna go and we're gonna go see about raiding someone. Who is currently live? Yes. Uh, Thank you everyone who popped in, even for just a few moments, or if you were around for the entire stream. Uh, Thank you for showing up, whether it be because of your time zone, good night, or good morning. I hope to see you all tomorrow for something else. We'll see what I do if I wake up on time, or what's going on. But with that being said, we're gonna go say hi to Griever. He's been gone for a while. He's just coming back. I think this is his first stream back. So everyone say hello to him. Otherwise, goodbye everyone. Goodbye, goodbye. Goodbye.